Hey soul family, welcome back to the channel. This is the White Feather Tarot, and in today's reading we are doing what happened in your past life that your past self wants to warn you about. I'm sure this reading will get a certain perspective that could help you out in your life today, make you, maybe pile number one is ready. Maybe take care of something or understand something better. Let's find out together. So we'll be picking 3 piles together. So that's 1, 2, and 3. Let's see what we have. So for pile number 1, we already know. Let me adjust that. This is what your picture looks like. For pile number 2, this is what your oracle card looks like. And for pile number 3, this is what your oracle card looks like. If you like to pick with crystals, let me add these right now. There we go. So for pile number 1, we have the Sodalite point. And this is what your crystal looks like. For pile number 2, we have the rose quartz point, and this is what your crystal looks like. For pile number 3, we have the white howlite point. Let me adjust that. And this is what your crystal looks like. There we go. So take a look at which one of these 3 piles or 3 crystals you're the most drawn to, and that will probably be the pile for you here today. And as I always invite you to, if you feel drawn to more than one pile, or maybe even drawn to all of the piles, take a look at them, because it's always good to listen to our intuition. Our intuition always guides us to the right readings. So whether you're just drawn to one and you know that's it, or perhaps several, or maybe all, take a look at them. You'll be surprised. Sometimes you take a look at another pile and it's deeper for you, or it resonates for you more. In so many ways, you get a different perspective. So yeah, take a look. If this is a reading that you're interested in, have a look at the piles that you are drawn to. And as usual, you'll find the timestamps down in the description box. Click on your times and I'll see you in your reading. Hey soul family, welcome to your pile preparation process. It is so lovely to have you guys here. I love spending this time with you as we prepare for your piles. And in today's reading, these are the cards that we will be using. We're taking a look at what happened in your past life that your past self wants to warn you about. And so I believe these will be the cards that would help us in today's reading. On the left are the Oracle cards, and on the right are the tarot decks that we will be using for your reading today. Okay, so let's get right into it. And let's start shuffling with intention. So, there. 1, 2, and I feel this one. 3. Okay. So that's the first one. Let's pick up the next one. So what happened in your past life that your past self wants to warn you about in today's reading? 1, 2, and 3. Okay. What happened in your past life that your past self would like to warn you about? There we go. In today's reading. Okay. So for the tarot decks, I made a mix of like old stories, a deck of cards speaking about history, so that we get, you know, some of the older life energy, and modern life. This one is totally about our modern life, you know, our messages, our phones, the way social media, the way we are kind of depicted today in a tarot deck. Perhaps, of course, that's not all, but kind of depicts that modern life energy, is what I want to say. I've also chosen decks that could show us energy of perhaps pain that we may be feeling, or concern, or some worry, as well as a neutral deck that has a lot of energy that has like concoction of different energies, positive, negative, different things going on. That's why I feel these cards would help us in today's reading. Okay, so we're gonna do like we do every time. We're gonna be picking 2 cards for each of the piles. So what does your past self wants to warn you about with regards to maybe something that happened in your past life? Oh, these are 2, so we're getting 3 cards in the third pile. Okay. Let's pick up the next deck. That's the right way up. And there we go. I didn't see it. It chose to land right there. These are 2. One, 2. This one. And 2. There we go. What happened in your past life that your past self, 3 in the first pile, okay, wants to warn you about? These are 2 here. And I see 2 for the third pile. Right. So, what happened in your past life that your past self, thank you, wants to warn you about. So these are 2. One, 2, and I feel these specific 2. There we go for the 3rd pile. All right, so our piles for today's reading are now ready. Let's put them together neatly so that we can begin your reading. There we go. That's pile number 1. There we go with the Sodalite point. That is pile number 2. There we go. With the rose quartz point. And this is pile number 3. There we go. There is pile number 3 with the white Howlite point. There we go. So these are the piles for today's reading. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. I always love it and appreciate it. Love you guys, and let's start your reading. Hey pile number 1, welcome to your reading. This is the oracle card that you've picked. Very intrigued. I wonder what this is going to be about today. And the Sodalite point. Let's keep them right there, and let's start exploring your cards. We'll be starting off, excuse me, with your oracle cards first. So, something happened here for sure. You have the dead end. Something obviously happened in your past life. Okay. You also have sweetness. And you have courthouse. Okay, let's now take a look at your tarot cards. So, pile number 1, you have the 5 of Cups. The World card. You have the Knight of Pentacles. The High Priestess. You have the 5 of Pentacles. Lots of disappointment here and heartbreak and losing something, it seems. Okay. You have the 7 of Swords. Okay. You have the Knight of Wands. You have the High Priestess again. Interesting. Okay. And you, interesting. This is an extra card in this deck, you know, with Morpheus presenting Neo either the blue or the red pill. How interesting. What a, oh my God, this looks like a very interesting reading. Let's see what your past self is trying to relate to here about what happened, about maybe a certain situation, what happened in your past life that they want to warn you about now. Oh my, pile number 1. This seems like a very deep, interesting story here. Very, very deep indeed. Here, before I get into that, with the courthouse, this is right away in the context of your reading, reminds me of karma with the courthouse, karma of life with the world card appearing. This is your past self coming from one of your past lives that was a very difficult one. Why? Because with sweetness in conjunction to the dead end here, it seems like you at some point in this lifetime had something that you really loved. Perhaps it was your whole world. This could have even been a child, but not necessarily. And you have lost that which you valued the most. I will pick up your tarot cards in a second. I know it's a general reading, but I want to check the story here. What is it that you lost? Was it a child with the eyes popping here? Was it a certain trait, a beauty trait? Was it a certain bodily function with the 7 of Swords here? Was it you losing money, someone taking your wealth from you? I'm not sure. We'll get to that in a second. But what I do know with the High Priestess coming up twice, this was a very, very tough learning, a spiritual lesson that your life, your past life is passing on here. So it seems like with the dead end here in conjunction with the sweetness card, you lost something that meant perhaps the world to you, that meant everything to you. If it's not a child that, and it was wealth or maybe beautiful looks, then perhaps you depended on it to have things work for you. You felt that it was the end-all, be-all, perhaps, to everything that you want in life or you want to get. That it was the ticket. It was some sort of crutch. It was some sort of crutch. And even if it was a child, I see your past self discussing. Yes, we should, of course, love our children with every cell of our being, but not to our own detriment where we cannot move past it. We can love them and still get up and try again. But here with the mountain, the very narrow, steep, high mountain here in the High Priestess, this was in your past life a very difficult level, that very difficult lesson that you just couldn't escape. 5 of Cups and the 5 of Pentacles shows that you were in a lot of despair, agony, heartache. You lived your past life feeling the lack of this loss, and you couldn't move past it. In fact, with the Knight of Pentacles, it seems like your life started being slow. You lived a long life, by the way. And it's like the universe or karma was trying to teach you to let go of that loss and to not live this very long, hard life in despair of what you lost. In fact, here with the Knight of Pentacles, you see hate me. And it's like there was a lot of hate in this past life. Hate of the loss. Hate of the unfairness of life. Hate of what others have done to contribute to this agony. Hate of living every single every single day, not having that very important thing to you. And it's in the shape of a heart. Do you see the hate me is in the shape of a heart? Your heart was so much in pain, it couldn't move past this agony and this loss. You know, in fact, this reminds me of a YouTube video that I watched, I think, 2 or 3 weeks back on YouTube, and I think is a great example of what your past self is trying to relate to you here. I think it's perfect. I may even have watched it for this pile. It personally helped me a lot in my life. And now seeing the story, you will see how this video absolutely goes hand in hand with your past life's story. So the video that I saw was of a man who, one of the last survivors of polio, who lived his life in a breathing machine. And so, he just had to spend all of his life in this metal tube. So because he lost his, I think he was paralyzed and couldn't even breathe. I might be saying this wrong. Maybe he wasn't paralyzed. I don't know what exactly went wrong medically. I'm not a doctor. But what I understood is he couldn't breathe himself, and he had to be in this breathing tube the rest of his life from when he was a kid. And when I saw this, my heart ached. To a certain point before I heard him speak, I was like, I feel so much pain for this man. I don't think I'll be able to watch this video. And I usually, because of my nature, sometimes when I see other people suffer, I feel like I'm suffering instead of them. And sometimes I cannot handle watching someone suffer. And so I don't know even why I clicked on the video. I usually can't handle something like that. But I did. I don't know what was the title. There was something very curious, and I clicked. And this man was so positive, so happy. And I couldn't understand how he reached this level of acceptance and happiness and cheerfulness. I was like, oh my God, I mean, I don't know how I would handle this. And so the interviewer was asking him, do you feel like life was unfair to you? Do you feel like, why did this happen to me? Do you sometimes think like that? And he was like, oh no, I never think of it this way. And he got my attention there. And then the interviewer asked him, then why? And he said, I don't know. I just never saw it this way. I saw it in a completely different way. Sometimes there were days where I couldn't breathe properly. I just couldn't do it. And I feel privileged to have had a machine like that can help me breathe and be okay, and to talk to my parents. He loved his parents very much, who loved him dearly. And I saw a lot of my friends, because, polio was a thing at his time and a lot of children died. And I saw one person dying after the other, one friend dying after the other in the hospital. And so I felt privileged that I didn't have to go through this. I feel very lucky, very privileged. And I was like, wow, how mentality strengthens and changes everything. And that's the tip of the iceberg. We didn't get at how lucky this guy feels he is. He explained that he lived a normal life. He was very curious about life, and he went to university. He had a challenge going, but they didn't want to accept him at first, but they did. He finished law school, and he opened up his own office. He had a secretary who would write everything for him, his personal assistant. And at some point, he put advertisements in the newspaper. And at some point, his office was jam-packed. Everyone wanted to work with him. He was so good. He was passionate about what he was doing. And his life story goes on and on about the different things he's done. The people who live around him are very inspired by him. They find him a beautiful soul, very sweet, very optimistic. And watching this video really filled my heart. I finished this video, I was like, whoa, all the things I was worried and complaining about. Oh my God. I felt like all the heavy things in my life that scare me and sometimes make me feel worried. They were off my back after this video. I was like, wow. I mean, nothing compares to that. That I adopted his mentality on that day, and I was like, wow. I mean, living healthy like that mentally makes you go through everything. And so, going back to the story, I felt like really, I really felt watching this video and now taking a look at the story here. Perhaps I was led to watch it, you know, it landed in my feet for this specific pile, and for me, of course, and it's just so inspirational. And so here, I clearly see what your higher self wants to tell you. Do you want me to check what have you lost, or is it not important at that point? I think you may be curious. Let's check for you. Let's just take a couple of seconds to see what you may have lost in the past. I know it's a general reading, but let's try. So you have the Lovers. You could have lost someone very dear to you. You have the Two of Swords. And you have the Six of Swords. Yeah, it looks like ever since you lost that dear one. Okay, so now it's confirmed. I think it's either you lost something that you loved about yourself, like like the example of the guy, perhaps it was a health issue. We did notice the eye here. A health issue, something integral, or a loved one. It could be either one. And we can see with the Two of Swords and the Six of Swords, after that, your whole life changed. We see the difference in colors, where it was all bright and yellow, and it's getting dark and misty. Yeah, everything changed. Everything went darker. You felt like you were cornered. It perhaps was the feeling like it was all, like nothing can be good without it. Yeah, kind of thing. Okay, thank you so much. Right. So, yeah, it was something that meant the world to you, my dear pile number one. And so here, I clearly see how your past life wants to guide you and what your exact message from your past life here about your life. I see your past self really saying, don't live the life that I lived. Because we see two high priestess here, two journeys. Mine was long, full of suffering and unbearable. And I see your past life saying, I've learned so much from this lifetime that I want to pass on, because I want you, see with the white and black here, I want you to pick, to make a different choice. Karma is not always on the side that our heart wants, always. It is definitely on the side of finding balance with the courthouse here in our spiritual journey, but not necessarily always in favor of what our heart wants at this specific time. And so your past self wants you to live through life like the Knight of Wands here, powerful, moving forward despite of anything, being courageous and moving forward. And so, just like Morpheus presented Neo with the two pills, your past self is telling you you can live your life whenever there is a loss or despair or pain from the past, or, you know, having lived it. Your past life is telling you it's not always fair, and life is full of up and downs, beautiful, amazing things, and sometimes things that that is unthinkable, unbearable, and maybe even unlivable if we choose. And so, choosing between the blue pill and the red pill, as you may have seen in The Matrix, if you've seen the movie, the blue pill talks about Morpheus telling Neo that that's it. If they take the blue pill, they can forget about all the weird things they're watching. They can wake up and believe whatever they want and move on with their lives. The red pill is kind of like illumination, where you choose to stay in this wonderland learning about the truth, growing, and from here you go down the rabbit hole and learn more. And although this journey may not always be the easy one that we instinctively initially want, you know, we always want to go back to what we're familiar with. It could be, it's taking the hardness now, learning about something and moving on with strength, just like a cocoon, and coming out like a butterfly, or choosing the status quo, what you know, what you're familiar with, and just living whatever it is. But having already lived that, your past life is saying it was a horrible end. It was a horrible, long life full of pain, and your past life does not want you to repeat that. Again, we see the idea with the sun and moon here, the choice between two types of life: living in the day, illuminated and healing, or living in the night where you choose not to look at what your subconscious is showing you, what karma is showing you, what the universe is showing you. Sometimes it's about doing the hard thing now to live a long, beautiful life. And so with the Knight of Wands, I really see the idea of choosing, and I say selfishly with quotations here, choosing yourself. That's the energy of the Knight of Wands, choosing yourself. And whatever tool is needed to choose yourself, this is what will be needed for you to move on. Is it acceptance, knowing that whatever happened already happened? If there is no hand to change the past, then just let it be and choose a happy, bright, beautiful future, because you deserve to live this life. You deserve to be happy. And to move past whatever happened, just let it go. Let the past be in the past and choose a new tomorrow. Who knows what this new tomorrow is going to have in store for you? It just might be way happier than what you imagined for your life. You never know. Keep what is dear to you in your heart. That is yours. But at the same time, choose to move forward. And sometimes we have stubbornness to, and that's the opposite here of illumination. We have stubbornness to how we think something leads to a certain type of happiness, when really, when we ask for something from the universe, we'll always be surprised how, yes, we get the end result, but a lot of the times it doesn't go in the route or the path that we initially thought would happen in, or happen with, or happen like, you know. It always takes us in shifts and turns. The end result is what we wanted, but we're flabbergasted at how it happened, because we thought there was only one way to get what we want, and we realize that the universe is not limited, it's limitless. And we realize that there are so many ways, especially surprising ways, that how our end results happens, how life twists and turns, and it gives us what we want in the end. Who would have known, just like the lawyer that we watched, that he would have an office filled with people who wanted to work with him, believed in his skills. He was so adamant about being a lawyer and was so interested in learning, loved the process of learning, was so curious that it probably was the reason for everyone wanting to work with this lawyer. So yeah, really, your past life here, past self is telling you to open your mind to how your path is taking you. You will always find, yes, that the lesson at the beginning may be hard. With the Seven of Swords, you might feel like life is robbing from you what you want, or taking what is dearest and most valuable to you, and that the court of life is very harsh sometimes, very maybe feels unfair at the time, but you will see, just as you wanted, you will get your sweetness back into your life, and maybe even more, my dear pal number one, and maybe even more. Trust your life path, live a happy life. You deserve it. Who would deserve it if not you? You deserve it, my dear pile number one. Let life lead its way so that you come out of this bardo from the past into the future, a bright, beautiful future that you will be surprised to see and learn how magical the universe functions. And my dear pile number one, this was your reading. It touched my heart. I wish you the best of luck. Such wisdom from your past life, and I thank your past self for coming through in this reading. And this was your reading. If you've enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. And if you enjoy Zodiac Tarot readings, make sure you check out my other channel. It's the first link in the description box. And please don't forget to check out my productivity book, my dear pile number one. This book is small, straight to the point, and so you won't procrastinate or waste time reading it. But really, it will help you achieve your dreams. You know, set your goals, watch it come into life. It's small, straight to the point, and so you won't procrastinate, like I said, reading it. But you'll find that it has all the key advice and secrets to becoming a productive person right away, all while enjoying the process. And so if you're interested in checking it out, you'll find a link to this ebook down in the description box. There's also an audiobook if you love listening to your books. And by the way, I've released the productivity cookbook. Guys, you're gonna love this book. It's gonna save your day from cooking and wasting time. I don't want to say wasting time, but putting a lot of time trying to figure out what to eat, what to cook, and spending hours in the kitchen, or the alternative, eating unhealthy food. I've partnered with a nutritionist that I love and believe in, and this book has 210 recipes. I mean, live your year enjoying delicious, healthy recipes that you can cook in minutes and enjoy the rest of the day doing what you want. There's also a vegan version, and if you're not vegan, you can even get both, and now you have a plethora of delicious food to choose from for the rest of the year. I hope you enjoy that too. It's done from the heart. And my dear pile number one, that was your reading. Thank you so much for tuning in. Love you guys very much, and I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye. Hi, pile number two. Welcome to your reading. You have chosen this very interesting picture. Can you see that? Yes, there we go. As well as the rose quartz. Let's see how this is going to fit into your reading today about what your past life wants to warn you about from something that happened in your past life. Okay, so to do this reading, we'll be starting off with your oracle cards. That's the first one. We missed that one. So what do we have? We have the healer. Okay. You also have ideation. Okay. Interesting. Ideation could also deal with the mind. Perhaps this is your subconscious mind and you're afraid of something, but not necessarily, of course. Let's see what the rest of your cards have. You have gift. Ooh, okay. Now, let's take a look at your tarot cards. So, you have the Queen of Wands. And I do want to say something just happened now. Right as I started your pile, I was like saying, hi, pile number two, I got a headache. Now, it's very significant because right before I started, I didn't have it. So maybe this has to do with it, especially that we have the healer here. Maybe, oh yes, and we were talking about the mind as well. So I don't know how this as well is going to fit into your reading, but I'm sure because it started with the pile, I started feeling something. It has to do with your reading. You have the Eight of Swords. Also, Eight of Swords is feeling mentally stuck. You also have the Knight of Pentacles. You have the Three of Swords. The Fool card. You have the Devil card. Oh, Looks like there's nudity here. I think we need to take it out because of new YouTube rules. They're very strict now. All right. So yeah, the Devil card. And you have the Hermit, as well as the Two of Swords. Wisdom was Wands, sorry, the Two of Wands. Yeah, it makes sense with idea, of course. Right. So, what are we seeing in your pile? What happened there? We're seeing, the first thing I'm noticing here, with the herb here, I'm not sure if we can say it on YouTube or not. I don't even know anymore. So anyways, you get the idea. A little bit of it or some of it in the right amounts, as you know, described as ascribed by experts, I'm not sure, can be, of course, very healing, very good to the mind. But a lot of it may turn into something addictive, just like everything else, maybe depending on it. Just like everything in life. A little of it is good if it's a good thing, and a lot of it could be addictive. So I'm already seeing a theme of using something to heal maybe a certain emotion rather than dealing with it. So let me take a closer look at your cards to inspect the situation further and find out exactly what this situation or story was. Pile number 2, seeing idea or ideation twice shows that you are a very creative soul. You are always here to bring a gift to your world, to present something amazing. Very, very smart mind. I mean, having the mind being highlighted from the very beginning of your reading shows that you have high capabilities, higher than the people around you, a very developed soul. You're always here to improve something with the ideation here, to find solutions, to make something bigger, better, even if it's in a very simple way or a complicated way. An amazing soul full of potential. And I see here that your past self is speaking about a situation that happened to them as a child, dealing with their inner child. Here with the Knight of Pentacles, we can clearly see that your higher self shows us that their inner child was full of potential, full of hope and dreams towards life, was a very happy child, explorative, curious, has a lot of ideas and dreams in specific. But you can see all these dreams were kind of crushed with the Three of Swords here, right next to it. It's like the cards are telling us a story. Were crushed with a certain situation happening. Something happened to their inner child that became a lifelong trauma, something very scary, perhaps an abuse by a certain adult could have happened. I think that could be the situation here, where you could have blossomed into, you know, the Queen of Wands is the most attractive character in tarot. She's charismatic, popular, expressive, strong, and gives and helps others as she creates her own world, which is exactly the case in your story, who you were growing to becoming. But instead, we see this growth. I don't want to say the word halted, because no one can stand in your way, but interrupted is the right word. With the devil here, by something nasty, maybe with the devil in conjunction to the Queen of Wands. This could have been rather a selfish person, a grown-up that was selfish, self-absorbed, who was quite nasty, really. I see your past self, rather, as inner child, very afraid of this character. They're holding, they're afraid of the same character they're holding on to, which kind of shows me this is a parent. They were afraid of a parent. Like the same person who was meant to protect them was the same person who was scary, mistreated them. And so, yeah, in your past life's story, there was a parent. Apparently, it was a parent who may have had good intentions, I don't know, but they were not dealing with the situation in the correct manner. They traumatized your past self's inner child, and kind of interrupted the growth here. Someone who had rosy, beautiful dreams that was full of potential, perhaps there was a lot of nastiness and criticism and shouting, maybe screaming. They became their fear, and it was on and on and on. And so when your past self had to deal with life, they couldn't really focus on bringing out their creativity, bringing out their gift into the world, because they were so focused on healing their inner child and their wounds and their traumas. But they really couldn't do it in a healthy way. It looks like they had to abuse a certain substance to deal on a daily basis with that pain, just to forget about it a little bit. And so there was a cycle of being stuck here with the Eight of Swords. Your past self couldn't go past this cycle because they constantly had to abuse something to feel better, but then when they feel better, they couldn't be creative, they couldn't progress in life, they couldn't do and provide the gift that they had, because they were either in pain or kind of like intoxicated to forget about it or to release it or stop feeling the horrible feeling that they were going through. And this could have simply been by resting, not using this creative force, by simply choosing to rest. Or it doesn't even have to be intoxication, sometimes it could be, if your past self was in the modern world, maybe by television, or just simply not doing anything, just sitting and trying to heal, by wandering around doing other things that were knitting, or I don't know. Knitting is amazing, don't get me wrong, you know what I mean. Just trying to take your mind off of something by doing something else. That could be another case. Watching television, knitting. Yeah, I don't know why I keep saying knitting, but just doing something rather than following your passion. And we're talking about your past self here, for let's say their passion. Your past self always knew they had so much potential, and they seemed to have lived sad, broken-hearted, stabbed in the heart, feeling like they can't. They just, it's not written maybe for them. to pursue that. It's just not for them. And they have to continue doing what they're doing, feeling like their lives was running away from them. And it seems like your past self couldn't achieve what they wanted to do. Your past self does not want you to repeat that mistake. Your past life wants you to have another chance, another go at life, to present to the world the gift that you are, the amazement that you are. You are obviously here meant to present something that would change so much, and the world would really be deprived of what you have to offer, my dear pile number 2. They want you in this lifetime to present that amazing gift to the world. And they are showing me here healing the inner child, because the Fool has to do with the inner child as well. Just like the 6 of Cups, you know. Healing that inner child, because it has to do with innocence, is in the very same thing that you are avoiding to maybe heal. That's the dilemma here. We can see that the cure is in that the cure is in that very same thing that you could be avoiding to find the cure, you know. And so here we see it inside here, the circle, inside. So I see your past life telling you that really the cure is to actually follow and pursue your dreams, to let your mind, you know, do its magic, to bring out its creativities and its ideas, to present it to the world. And through that process, you pattern interrupt that cycle. Perhaps it's a victim cycle that you're not even aware of, you know, reliving, which is something that we all do, reliving the past, reliving a pain. Oh, yes. But sometimes we lose ourselves in the cycle. It happens. And sometimes we need to have the awareness to realize that we're even in the cycle in the first place. And when we do realize it, we're lucky, because now we can stop it. We have control. We totally now have the capability of stopping the cycle once we realize that we're in it. And that's, I think, what your past self is showing to you here. That to pattern interrupt the past, it perhaps may have been hurtful, to let it go. Maybe you're healing this life and other lives. And the key is to follow what you were brought here to do. That will really be the pattern interrupt, because it's now a matter of reliving a cycle. And so once you interrupt that by initially, just like momentum, there's inertia in the beginning, where there's pushing to creating inertia, pushing hard in the beginning to create that momentum. And when you push very hard in the beginning, you feel like this is how the road or the path is going to be like, where you have to continuously push that hard every day. But really, it's not like that. Like the laws of physics, in the beginning you push, but then you create that momentum. And after some time, it starts getting, a little time actually, starts getting easier and easier. And at some point, all you need to do is just make that slight push, and it's just running very quickly. And it does not have to always be as hard as in the beginning. Every single thing starts with you have to put things together, follow through, push through every single thing. No matter how easy it looks in our minds, you started and you just have to figure out so many things and push through. But then it becomes very easy. And you will certainly be starting a new healing your inner child, finding that innocent essence of your soul. That is the reason for all this magic that you create, to connect with that internal magic. And once you do, it's such a powerful energy that will spring life back into your soul, back into your being. You'll feel your power with the Queen of Wands heel. You'll start connecting with who you are. And connecting with that type of magic there's no turning back. You will find your power, you will find your strength, your creativity, your magic, and nothing and no one can stop you or come between you and what you're supposed to do, my dear pile number 2. So your past life really wants you to heal that in this life, and it's all about connecting to your essence. That will be your, can we say drug, or that will be your fuel. And you really don't need anything outside of your own self, because your mind, your beautiful mind, has it all. And so your past self is inviting you to connect to that part of yourself, connect to your ideas. What are you inspired to do? What do you feel like you want to pursue? What is your type of creativity? Or rather, what is the world missing that you can provide? How can you help, even if it's a little bit in the beginning, and you can grow? And you will be surprised. I don't think I'm even going to say that, because I think you know, pile number 2. Everything that you touch, look at these hands, you turn into gold. You're so gifted, my dear pile number 2. You are so gifted. My goodness, it would be such a shame not presenting this gift to the world. Please do that, pile number 2. Please, for you and for everyone. And you will, like we've noticed here, you will find your magic as you tap into that energy. So the question is, what do you feel you can present to the world? What is the world waiting for from you? You know, deep in your soul, my dear pile number 2, you know. What do people need you in? How do you feel like you can jump in with your friends and family and your work, where you feel like you can jump in and help? There's something in you that is so brilliant. Something? A lot of things, my dear pile number 2. Gosh, when it comes to your mind, I mean, I started off your reading with a headache. You are such a brilliant mind that is just working. It doesn't stop. You're full of ideas. You're full of creative power. And so tap into that. See how you can help. And once you touch that, there is no turning back. All you need in the beginning is just to persevere. You know, when you wake up in the morning and you're like, I don't feel like that today. I'll get into that in a moment. I'll get into that in an hour. Decide on a certain hour and never turn back. No matter what's going on in your life, when that hour comes in, you're into that creative energy. Nothing in the world is more important than you, my dear pile number 2. And when that time comes in, you're in. You're doing, even if you start out by doing something small every day, continue to do that until you get into that, you get sucked into that energy and nothing can take you out of it, my dear pile number 2. And that is the exact message that I see from your past self about what happened in their past that they want to warn you about. And this is the exact message of what they're hoping and rooting for in this lifetime. You're meant to heal it. So go for it, my dear pile number 2. I hope you conquer the world. You show them your gifts so that we can all benefit from it. And that was your reading, my dear pile number 2. I hope you've enjoyed it. And if you have, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. By the way, if you enjoy Zodiac Tarot readings, make sure you check out my other channel. It's the first link in the description box. And please, pile number 2, make sure you check out my productivity book. This book could really help you out in the very same thing you're trying to heal. I promise you it's really going to help you out. It's small, straight to the point, and so you won't procrastinate in the first place reading it. But it has all the key advice and secrets to becoming a productive person right away, all while enjoying the process. And that's all your energy, my dear pile number 2. And so if you would like to check it out, you'll find a link to this ebook down in the description box. There's also an audiobook if you love listening to your books. And by the way, the productivity cookbook that I talked to you guys about is now released. I'm so excited to announce it to you guys. I've partnered with a nutritionist that I love and believe in, and we've provided a book with 210 recipes of healthy, delicious recipes that you can cook in a matter of minutes. And that's the whole idea, so that you have the rest of the day to do whatever you want. You won't have to think too much about that. There's also a vegan version if you're a vegan. And if you're not, you can even get the 2 books. And now you have a plethora, because they're both different recipes completely. You have a plethora of delicious recipes that you can cook throughout the whole year and enjoy, all cooked in a matter of minutes. And you can enjoy something delicious and spend the rest of the day doing what you're supposed to do. My dear pile number 2, this was your reading. Thank you for tuning in. I'm so impressed by what your cards are showing here. I wish you the best of luck. I hope you use that creativity, my dear pile number 2, to do something amazing, because you're supposed to. That's what your cards are showing. All the best of luck, my dear pile number 2. I swear I'm rooting for you. I hope you jump into that. And I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye. Hi, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. This is the card that you have chosen. Cannot wait to see how this fits into your reading. We have the number 11, which is very interesting as well. And you have chosen the white Howlite point. Right, so let's take a look at your cards, starting off with your oracle cards, to find out what your past self wants to warn you about, what happened in the past. Let's find out together. So, right off the bat, you have the cave, and I'm not sure if this is picking up on camera, but there are 2 eyes right in the dark there, in the depths of this cave, perhaps. I hope you can see it, my dear pile number 3. Yeah, there we go. All right, I don't know why we focused on these eyes, but there we go. Let's see how that's going to fit into your reading. You also have, ooh, wow. Wow, love that for you. Abundance. Okay. Right. You have house. Talk about wealth. Perhaps your past self was super wealthy, because we see this figure there up in the clouds, so high, higher than everyone else, and wearing a crown. Maybe you were from an aristocratic, wealthy family. We see that sort of tower here, being a high up in society. Quite interesting. Wow, but it was a closed gate at the same time. It's like this protected community. Maybe, my dear pile number 3, you were a royal, a prince, a princess, a queen, a king. I'm not sure. Let's find out together. This is gonna be a super interesting reading. Whoa. All right, let's take a closer look at what's going on here. So you have the Ace of Wands. Wow. Yeah, you it's kind of like you were the chosen one by a higher power. Wow. Pile number 3. Yeah, you had a powerful some sort of powerful position. Okay. You have the 4 of Swords. The Ace of Swords. You have the Lover's card. I feel like it's usually the Lover's card is a card of choice. So you could have been, you could have been faced by tough choice that you had to make. Okay. Let's keep this highlighted there. Yeah, you have the Four of Wands. Interesting. And you have the Eight of Wands. Okay. Again, do you see that? You being in a fenced community where it's very hard for others to contact and communicate with you. Again, we see the curtain here. People can't see your inner world. All right, you're living high up. All right, so here we have the Sun. You have the Three of Swords. Oh no. Wisdom in this deck is Wands. My apologies. The Three of Wands. Wow. Again, you being up, in this lifetime. You're either very successful or on your journey to become very successful in your career in specific. Ooh, wow. Always in a high position or going towards a high position. Six of Wands talk about victory and success. Again, wow. So impressive. Okay. Let's take a look at this story. What's going on here? Wow. What an interesting pile. I think I'm going to love reading this pile. What is going on here? So being high up, always being high up, you get to see different challenges, and like the insect here crawling up, that maybe not most people don't know about. Unique type of challenges and problems and situations with NA not available to many people, because these things come with the type of privileges that you would have being in this unique position. So the story of your past self here is all about tapping into a life that, that's why we couldn't see the eyes, that not many people could see. Perhaps only you were illuminated about. Because with huge blessings like that, are they blessings? I don't know. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'm not sure yet. But being blessed with a unique position like that, being the chosen one like that, comes with its own unique challenges. And so with the Four of Swords, sometimes you were left to think about these troubling issues all on your own. Because with the Ace of Swords here in the in the form of sweets or candy, it looks like others will see you as being privileged to enjoy that sort of problem in the first place, you know? It kind of like good problem to have. Like, for example, I'm going to give a silly example, funny one, but it's just to kind of understand the idea. It's kind of like a princess being advised to count their gold first thing in the morning before they wake up, and then they have to announce it to their financial keeper or whatever, and no one can count their gold except them, because, you know, maybe the king doesn't want anyone to know what they have. And and so that's a silly example. I'm just trying to relay here what kind of challenges one can have that others don't. And you know, you had to wake up every day, count the gold, every single one of them, maybe even for hours before you even began your day. And you talk to a friend and you're like, I'm so tired of counting my gold. Every single day I'm going crazy. And although, by the way, that is such a legitimate Funny to hear, of course, don't get me wrong. But such a legitimate concern to have if you have to wake up every single day of your life and have to go over it meticulously before you even do anything else. Could be frustrating, but having someone who needs that goal to heal their child or bring food or just solve nasty problems in life could be really bitter to hear, Like, these are your problems. You have to wake up and count your gold. Oh, I don't want to hear your problems anymore because I have much more serious things to think about. So, yeah, that was, of course, a very, very simple, perhaps even silly example. But it is meant to show you that what you had to deal with could have actually been very difficult, could have been much, much more intricate and much more painful to deal with than the situation I'm narrating. But at the end of the day, it was only you that could see and tap into that sort of problem. And perhaps it did really matter, you being the chosen one. You had huge responsibilities that come with that maybe others couldn't see as they hear your stories because they are not carrying that type of responsibility. And so you were very alone in terms of trying to figure it out, to think about it. You had to watch others carrying their problems alone, celebrating life with each other. I mean, not alone, with each other, relating to each other, being there for each other. While you had to be very careful about what you say, what you do, every single move, because could have been taken the wrong way. And that's why you may have been in this fenced, not available community, because you every single word and action and thing that you do mattered. It had a higher weight than if everyone else did it. I feel like your past life was very responsible. Your past life always wanted to be in touch with reality, but did not want to seem out of touch. And so for this reason, had to stay alone in the dark. And your past self had to make that choice, you see. With all of the apples falling here, your past self was really tempted by all of the people who wanted to get to know them and loved them. But your past self was wise. The message here is not about you being wise with that type of place in the world, because your past self had that wisdom, and that's why that's perhaps actually why you were the chosen one. You have a big mission, that's for sure. And you felt very responsible for this big mission. It wasn't to you just a luxurious, abundant place. You really held dear that responsibility. And although you were so tempted a lot of the times to just let it go and connect and talk, you chose to protect that responsibility. Yes, it was an abundant life, very comfortable, luxurious, abundant life, but it came at a great, great cost. And that was you being all alone in this life. And so, because you were always afraid of that ticking bomb, and your past self does not want you to repeat that. You know these toys where you twist it and then it repeats the same action over and over and over. So we can clearly see your past self does not want you to repeat that process, because obviously you're going to be reincarnated in that high position over and over because you have a specific mission with that sort of power that you have. And so, as we see with your modern cards here, again, this is going to be repeated, my dear pile number 3, whether it already is or not. You, with the Sun card, again, you're going to be very popular in this lifetime. you're gonna grow as a business person, and you're gonna create a lot of success and perhaps gain a lot of prizes. You're gonna be in a very, very sensitive position, albeit very comfortable and abundant and luxurious. Man, look, we're talking about a certain position that very few people get to have, as we've established from your past life. So yeah, you're on your way here, it seems, my dear pile number 3, to that high life. Okay, now the advice from your past life, you would think that the advice would be careful, don't make the wrong choices, so that people don't use that risky position that you're in. No, you already had that wisdom established in your past life. Here, the mistake that your past life doesn't want you to repeat on your way to this grand journey of success is to not be that closed off. Here's the thing, is your past self is still not telling you to just let it go. I mean, the curtain is a little bit open, well, at least closed on one side, but on the open side is still way up. There's a fence, there's a protocol in receiving and communication. There's a lot of boundaries created to protect that very sensitive position. I'm not sure, my dear pal number 3, what you're up to. Are you gonna be like maybe protecting a certain secret to making a certain industry go up? Are you maybe maybe you also could be in a political position, but by God, it looks like even if you're going to be in a political position, you're really here to do the right thing. You could be, I don't know exactly, it's not appearing to me what it could be, but examples, like I said, holding a secret that could you could progress things with, and if your reputation is tainted, the whole establishment could fall. Or same with the political change. Maybe you want to change something politically, but if your reputation is hit, then the whole thing could fall. It's like carrying a responsibility so much that you're really tapped into people's lives more than they know, although they see you way up there. You're so in touch, and you really, really care. And you, at the end of the day, even if you want to connect so much with others and just let yourself go and talk, you're jeopardizing something important, something very valuable that you have to be careful with, because you'll meet the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? You might meet people who may not care about your mission the way you do, may care about simply bringing you down, So your past life is telling you to carry that responsibility and to be careful with your communication as you grow in this way. Connect with others. Don't do like they did, where you were excluded from the world. There's a word. Cut off from life just to protect that responsibility. So here in this lifetime, your past self wants you to connect with others, wants you to be open, doesn't want you to be cut out this way. This is a yellow card full of life, but to also do it in a careful way. We're not fully closed, but just a little bit to breathe, connect, but with protocol. Make sure you are connected with others just as you wanted to connect, but with great boundaries, because you never know who will be putting you at risk, and most importantly, what you're carrying in your heart, it seems, that mission that you're protecting more than anything, that could fall if you do. There's a lot of risk with being up high, and so, let people in very slowly, be very super selective about who you let in, and even then there has to be protocols, there has to be things perhaps you shouldn't talk about, Yeah, to make sure that you and your mission is protected, because you don't want others with bad intentions to come and bring it all down, because now they're taking away all this help and progress that others will be getting through what you are protecting here, my dear pile number 3. But other than that, let me tell you, you are on a divine mission, and you will be seeing a lot of growth and popularity in your life that you cannot even begin to imagine. It's a unique position that few are in, my dear pile number 3. You're going to go from one success to the other, and just like the sun, perhaps all people around the world maybe will be seeing you, or will be knowing about you or your work, and you have to be very careful. And I don't think I need to continuously tell you that. It looks like you are aware of that at a very integral level from past lives. You already know that. But along with that, make sure you don't get lost in the process with the ticking bomb, and that you take care of you too. Be there, connect, but also it's not about, black and white. It's not about the what, it's about the how. How can you connect, and to what extent, and to what limit can you do it, and how can you enjoy it in the process? But other than that, my dear pile number 3, just like the princess who is going to be counting their gold every morning, you are going to be living a very high, luxurious life, and it's going to be a place of power. And it fills my heart to know that you are a chosen one like that. You must be a wonderful soul that deserves this responsibility. And I pray that you are always protected with this beautiful mission that you carry in your heart in such a responsible way like that. Pile number 3, I'm so proud of you. May you always be blessed. May you carry this responsibility safely with a lot of abundance, and bring out your amazement to the world. My dear pile number 3, that was your reading. I'm so impressed. I'm so inclined to ask you, what are you doing? So curious, but I do know, I saw in your reading, it's a sensitive place, and I'm not going to push you to say what it is, unless it's done with boundaries and you can tell me a little bit. That'll be so cool. Yeah, I wish you all the best of luck, my dear pile number 3. This was your reading. Your cards are nothing short of magnificent. May you always be blessed. And if you've enjoyed your reading, please give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel so that you never miss a reading that I upload. And if you enjoy Zodiac Tarot readings, make sure you check out my other channel. It's the first link in the description box. And please don't forget to check out my productivity book, my dear pile number 3. This book could really help you out in your journey, this amazing journey. It's small, straight to the point, and so you won't procrastinate reading it. But if you want to set out goals and be successful and do it in such an enjoyable way, this book is the book for you, my dear pile number 3. It's small, straight to the point, and so you won't procrastinate reading it. But you'll find that it has all the key advice and secrets to becoming a productive person right away, all while enjoying this journey, enjoying being productive, enjoying starting a dream and working on it and watch it finish till the end. This book could really help you out, and if you're interested in checking it out, you'll find a link to this ebook down in the description box. There's also an audiobook if you love listening to your books. And by the way, I'm announcing that I'm finally launching this productivity cookbook. I've partnered with a nutritionist that I totally believe in to bring a book out with 210 recipes of healthy, delicious meals that you can cook. It has snacks, dinner, salads, you name it, smoothies, everything, desserts, healthy desserts. And there's also a vegan version. And the whole idea is that you can cook any of these meals in a matter of minutes, so that you have the rest of the day doing whatever is important to you that you want to finish. There's also a vegan version. If you're not vegan, you can get both books. Both books have totally different recipes. And now you'll have a plethora of healthy meals that you can cook throughout the year. And my dear pile number 3, I've enjoyed your reading so much. Thank you so much for sharing your energy with us and giving me an enjoyable reading like that. I wish you all the best of luck in your life. May you always be blessed, protected, and bring out your magic into the world. This was your reading, and I'll catch you in the next reading. Bye.